actually some manipulation. I'll count you down though from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so you're gonna notice right away. Ice Blue A is playing in German. I'll explain that when we get there though. So first thing you'll notice is that the run is actually going to start here on the Switch kind of home menu. He's going to be restarting his Switch. The run actually hasn't started yet. It'll start when he selects the file, but he's actually doing some RNG manipulation right now because the way it works is the way the game determines the egg path at the end of the game is via the time it takes for you to start your game after powering on your Switch. So he's going to wait. I believe he's aiming for C24, which means he needs to start his game exactly, or he needs to start like with his profile exactly. I believe it's 34 seconds, or excuse me, 26 seconds after the console starts, or about 26 seconds. What that does is it locks his RNG in place for the end game. This is actually really important because it skips the entire trading sequence that you have to do throughout the game and saves several minutes throughout. So he's going to be playing in German as well. So you'll notice it's because Link is actually dreaming about Germany. So he'll have to play in German for the ultimate experience here. I'm just kidding. German is actually the fastest language. So, and it's simply because this game has the fewest text boxes in German. Because you can skip all the text instantaneously. And so all that matters is the amount of text boxes and not necessarily the speed of the text.
I'd like to point out that I already have the wrong seed.
Okay. So you have adjacent seeds good?
I do. I'd have to dig them out of my Discord.
Okay. Yeah, so the good thing about the RNG manipulation is that it is a 60 frame window to get it, but sometimes the Switch is just kind of weird in the way it powers on, and so you miss the seed ramming for sometimes. But the good thing is that the adjacent seeds to the one he has, so like if you miss a second early or a second late, you still know what pattern you're on. And he was able to actually identify that he was on the wrong seed by, if you heard Link like kind of grunting in bed, insert innuendo here, if you heard Link kind of grunting in bed, you could have seen that, or you could have heard that like he makes two different sounds, and you can actually use those sounds. Those sounds are actually also tied to the RNG seed, so you can determine whether or not you're on a correct or incorrect seed from those grunts, which is actually really interesting. All right, so now we got the sword. Now that we have the sword, we can actually do things. We can actually advance through this first part of the game. And there's nothing terribly interesting about the run from a speedrun perspective until we reach the end of Dungeon 1. So, not really sure what to talk about until then, but basically, like, you're just trying to save frames anywhere you can just by walking, like, until you get the boots in Dungeon 3. The game does kind of, like, it doesn't really, you know, it just kind of goes at a slow pace until then, but then it really ramps up. Like, it ramps up once you finish D1, I would say. It starts to get pretty interesting. This game does get progressively glitchier as it goes, so like it'll be entirely glitchless up until the end of Dungeon 1, and then we actually use a trick to skip getting Bow Wow to enter D2, which is actually pretty impressive looking. So Ice is gonna skip that 50 rupee chest right there and get it on the way back. It just works out better that way. It's not really that much faster. It might be like a quarter of a second faster, but it just like the keys in that room cooperate better when you get on the way back. You just got the mushroom, and we're gonna trade that mushroom for the powder. We're gonna go all the way back across the forest and go to the witch, and the witch is gonna give us powder, which we need to sprinkle on the Tanuki, the raccoon, and have him transform back into Terran, Marin's father. This game is not weird at all, by the way. So we need those 50 rupees later to buy some bombs. And we need rupees in general for this run, because there are 2 glitches, and actually, well, 3 glitches in the run involving Tracy potions, or Tracy's medicine. But we only need to buy 2 of them. We get 1 of them in a dungeon. Tracy's medicine, I guess I'll explain this now, but Tracy's medicine is something that actually revives you when you die. So there are some death abuse glitches in this run, which involve Tracy's medicine reviving you. So now we have the powder. And we're on our way. That buzz blob, by the way, if you touch that buzz blob, that green thing that looks like a tree, you get shocked and you lose an entire heart. So it is important to avoid that. I've died to that before. It's not fun dying to a buzz blob. And the raccoon makes a funny sound and then kind of just like bounces around. There we go. And turns to Terran, who, by the way, has whites in his eyes, in case you didn't know. Alright, so now we have the key to Dungeon 1, the tail key. So we're just gonna like listen to this owl, fly down, take 5 seconds to fly down, say 2 words, and then take another 5 or 6 seconds to leave. Good stuff. Thanks, owl. Okay. So one thing to note about this part of the game is that I'm actually not sure if Ice Blue is counting kills or not, but we do need, for our rupee route, it is much more convenient to have Tracy sell us the potion for the lowest possible price of 28 rupees. And I'll explain how crazy Tracy works. As it turns out, Tracy is in fact crazy, and she will sell you the she'll sell you the rupees. She'll sell you the medicine for 2 different values of rupees, either 28 rupees or 42 rupees, depending on whether you are on an odd or even kill count overall in your playthrough. As you can imagine, that's kind of annoying. So what some people will do is and I'm actually not entirely sure what Ice Blue does, but some people will count kills, like in order to make sure they're on an even or odd count, and preferably get the even count for Tracy's medicine to be 28. Or they will kill enough enemies to get a piece of power drop and start counting from there, because so there are 2 different types of power-ups in this run that drop from enemies, seemingly randomly, but they're not actually random. There's the piece of power, and there's the Guardian Acorn. The piece of power doubles your sword's power and makes you move at about 1 point something times the speed. It basically makes you walk faster. It can be useful, but it really doesn't save you time anywhere in the run anymore. Not anymore, at least. But and then there's the Guardian Acorn, which doubles your defense. So the piece of power drops after every 32 kills plus the amount of heart containers that you have. So in this case, since Ice Blue has 3 heart containers, it'll drop after 35 kills. But there's no way you'd ever get piece of power before the end of Dungeon 1 in a speedrun, so it'll be 4 heart containers, presumably. And the way acorns work is after every, I believe, 14 kills you get, without taking damage, because, you know, the game knows that you need defense because you're not taking any damage. It makes no sense, but whatever. So therefore, since we know how many kills we're at when the piece of power drops, we can start counting from there instead of counting from the beginning of the game, if that makes sense. Yeah, once again, Dungeon 1 is all about just like basically just you know, movement, walking movement, trying to save frames where you can here and there.
To comment on your thing, my tactic for getting the 28 for Tracy first time is pray.
Yeah, that's also a valid tactic because counting is hard. Um, counting is very hard, especially when you're trying to focus on like other stuff. I even have like a counter on my stream, and I've basically just given up trying to count. So what I've actually recently adopted the method of just like killing enough enemies so that I get piece of power after dungeon 2. There are like 5 different ways to fight Rollin' Bones. By the way, yeah, there we go. There's final blow to Rollin' Bones. That guy's called Rollin' Bones, by the way. And now we're gonna fight Moldworm. By the way, we got the Rock's Feather earlier. The Rock's Feather is the item that allows you to jump. We'll have more on that later because it's kind of one of the most broken items in the game. One of the most useful, of course. So we're gonna open up with a Spin Slash on Moldworm for 2 damage. He takes 4, and now we just kind of need to wait for the tail. Ring around the Moldworm. Wow. Nice, good fight. So yeah, we just kind of need to wait for Moldworm's tail to open back up and become vulnerable, and then we Spin Slash it again for the kill. We're gonna grab this heart container, and you're probably wondering, like, why are we grabbing heart containers? We're gods at this game. Like, why do we need health? We actually do need health for later on in the run. Because, yeah, you want to finish the game with at least a few extra heart containers at your disposal. Because we do have a bunch of damage boost strats. Well, yeah, we'll call it a damage boost for simplicity's sake right now. But we'll get more on that later. There's some weird stuff that happens in this run. Just take my word for it. And again, we'll get there. So yeah. So the run's gonna get a little bit more weird here. So again, following Dungeon 1, we have the owl. Fly in for 6 seconds, say 2 words, and leave. Thanks, owl. Thanks for making our speedrun longer. Very much appreciated. Alright, so we're gonna walk on up towards Mabe Village again. Bubba and Tubbs are gonna speak to us and tell us, shoutouts to Zorlax, by the way, Zorlax7 for naming those guys Bubba and Tubbs in the original. So Iceber's gonna pick up a Kuko here in order to sacrifice to the RNG gods. Just kidding. We're actually going to use this Kuko to sort of launch us up onto the tops of trees from a lifelike. I'm not joking, by the way. That is actually a thing that we're going to end up doing right now. So Ice is going to... excuse me. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. So Kuko here is going to land on top of the sign right here. We're going to, like, kind of position ourselves in a way, and this like really likes to not cooperate very well, but this looks like a good alignment here, so we're gonna see if he can get into position there, throw the Kuko onto the sign, have the like launch us up, and see, like, Link just kind of nicks the Kuko on the way up and then lands on the trees, and now we're on tops of the trees, and we can enter Dungeon 2 from here by walking on top of the brambles, and feels bad, man, Bow Wow. Sorry, buddy. So yeah, Bow Wow is gone. Crab emoji. So now we enter Dungeon 2. Yeah, it's really amazing, honestly, like how much of a beast this speed game's become. And there are more tricks, kind of like that one, throughout the run. This game mainly consists of, at least up until Dungeon 6, it consists of mainly glitches in the overworld and movement in dungeons, which is a really, really nice balance. And then it kind of all goes away after Dungeon 6, but we'll get more on that later again. So Dungeon 2, he's going to skip the small key you can get in that room right there, which takes way longer than a small key later that we can get. We don't really need that key. There are more keys than you need in D2. So now we enter this this 2D underground section, which the original Link's Awakening was kind of famous for. It's pretty cool. There are even like some Goombas and stuff in some of the underground sections, and just in general, lots of outside Nintendo references. So here we have Hinox or Hinox or however you want to pronounce his name. That was a decent fight. We'll see his brothers later, so we won't actually be killing them. Alright, so speaking of Mario, or speaking of Nintendo references, we have these boos here that we have to light a torch and then make them become solid and kill them. Nice rupee spawn right in the way in the doorway there. So you do need some extra rupees in this run, and the rupee count's actually looking pretty good. Ice is going to grab these 20 rupees here, which is a pretty solid strat, honestly. It kind of eliminates the need for, it really eliminates the need to even worry about the extra rupees that you need in the run. Alright, so the room coming up here, you actually have to kill these 3 enemies in a specific order. You have to kill the Pulse Voice first, the enclosed Pulse Voice, and then kill the Keys over on the bottom right, and then the Stealthos. And dude, that Pulse Voice gave him really good RNG, just coming right out at him. Nicely done there. That was a really good room. Unfortunately, that Stealthos just kind of like, he loves to hang out on the left side. If only we could get him over to the right side, but it's hard to manipulate him. So coming up after this 2D underground section is the boss called Genie, who is the best boss in the game, and we'll see why when we come up to him. Oh, not quite the jump, but fortunately you do spawn back on the tile you fell from, so that's good. To make that jump. Alright, so yeah, Genie is the best boss in the game, and yeah, there's a lot of waiting during this fight. Like, a lot of waiting. Who doesn't like waiting? Waiting and dodging pretty simple projectiles. Swinging your sword once, throwing it once, and then waiting, and then waiting, and waiting, and waiting, and waiting. And yeah, this boss is just a lot of waiting. The second phase actually is pretty cool, I think, but the first phase is like, it's very long. This run does really pick up after this point, though. Like, once we exit D2, it starts to become very interesting. Alright, so the second phase of this fight, the battle's going to break open right here after the third time, and so this part right here, you can actually tell which one is the real Genie that's spinning around you by which one is farther away from the center of the room. And he's just gonna like slash over and over, and I believe he's gonna do the double spin slash strat in here. If you angle yourself a certain way toward the Genie, oh, never mind. Yo, the single slash strat, the 4x4, very nicely done. So that's the quicker kill on Genie. Very nicely done. So like, there's an easier way to do that fight. That way is quicker, but there's an easier way where you can actually double spin slash. If you angle yourself 90 degrees clockwise to the Genie, you can actually hit twice with the spin slash and do 4 damage very easily. So we skip that heart container because we're gonna get healed right away by Tracy, who hopefully will sell us sell the medicine for 28 rupees instead of 42. Also, nice leaving. D2, you can just hold right and mash A, and that rock will just disintegrate, and you don't have to actually throw it. Take the couple of frames it takes to throw the rock. We're gonna uncover that Dompe's shack warp right there. Nice 5 rupee drop. And hopefully, Tracy will be nice and sell for 28 rupees. Nice. Got it. Planned. Manipulated for 28 rupees. Good stuff. Yeah, so that really helps out with rupee routing, and now we have just a ton of rupees to spare now. So we do need a lot of rupees later, but it's mostly covered by a chest we get in Dungeon 3, which is 300 rupees. So yeah, we do need at least that many. We can even ignore rupees now. We have that luxury. Alright, so we're gonna buy 2 sets of bombs here. And then we're gonna steal the shovel. Excuse me, actually Ice buys 3 sets of bombs. Which is also perfectly fine. The shovel, giving him a little bit of trouble there, but that's perfectly fine. Honestly, the shopkeeper catching me there is quite a common occurrence. But yeah, you can steal in this game. I think this is the only Zelda game you can steal in.
Kind of a runner dies in this game. Come on now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ice gonna take a death there, because the shopkeeper. There's a very good life lesson taught to the player in this game. It's don't steal, or the shopkeeper will literally murder you. But you still get to keep the item after you die. So that's there's at least solace in that. But whatever, So you notice he actually safety saved here, and now he's attacking a fox. This is also perfectly normal behavior for a castaway on an island to just attack random animals. But anyway, so he's actually going to be using this fox to damage boost himself up onto a rock in order to skip an entire sequence involving Richard, the guy who wanted to get the 5 golden leaves in Candlelight Castle. Instead, we're just going to do this. We're going to lure the fox over into the spot over here on the right, and then with a peculiar timing, we're going to place a bomb, slash, and then jump onto the rock, just like that. Perfect. So now he's on top of the rock, and Tracy's medicine is going to revive him, and he'll just walk straight over to where the slime key is, grab it, and screw you, Richard. So yeah, that's the major sequence break. That saves about 5 minutes, give or take. And that was very nicely done. Alright, so now we're going to walk all the way around and enter Dungeon 3. Unfortunately, you do have to walk all the way around here. It is quite slow, but as far as we know, there's no alternative that would be faster, at least. So Dungeon 3, the first half is slow and the second half gets faster because of the item we can get in this dungeon. That is a super interesting strat. I actually haven't seen that, using the arrow. I haven't seen that. I have to try that, actually.
It usually works better, but somehow the bomb exploded on the Stalfos' back and didn't actually kill him.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just so like, I was taken aback by the strat. I didn't even notice that, honestly. That's good stuff, though. Alright, so I think Ice is gonna have to be on Acorn lookout for the Zol room here right before the dongos. Oh, never mind. There's the Acorn. Oh, I see what you did. Oh, that's interesting too. We're gonna bomb that wall before going over there. That saves an arrow, which is really nice. Arrows are a little bit tight in this run. But hopefully, if the trick later goes as planned, there won't be a need for arrows for Evil Eagle. But we'll see. The Dongo Snakes, so they take 4 turns. So they'll do 4 movements, and oh, that was a yeah, they control you. Like that bottom left, the Dongo just really trolled ice there. So they do 4 movements, and then they eat whatever's in front of them, or if they, you know, they might eat your bomb. They might also choose not to. So yeah, the Dongo Snakes are a great fight. Alright, so now we have the boots. Now we can do things quickly, or more quickly, at least. We can jump over 3 tile wide gaps with the boots. And we can just generally go fast. And one thing that's actually really unique about this game, in comparison to the original, is you can actually steer your dash, which is really nice. It feels pretty good to get used to, actually. It feels weird at first, but then once you get used to it, it's pretty good. You can also fire bomb arrows in this game. I don't think I ever noticed. I don't think I ever noticed that. I don't think I ever mentioned that. So bomb arrows, if you use the arrows and bombs at the same time, it'll actually like fire a bomb arrow, which in the original was also possible and was kind of a precursor to like Twilight Princess's bomb arrows, I suppose. Even though there were quite a few games that came out before Twilight Princess, but after the original, we'll call it a precursor. The unique little strat there to spin slash those stealth ghosts, and here's the 300 rupee chest that we couldn't get on the first way in, by the way, because we needed to kill that mini red Zol on the left side, which we did not have access to at the beginning because we needed the boots to do that. But now that we have the boots, we just go ahead and do that. Kill that Zol, get the 300 rupees, and we do need to get the Frog Song of Soul in this run, which is a 300 rupee investment, so we do need those 300. Nice. Oh, wow, they really troll. Yeah, that was a really good avoidance tactic at first. And he just kills them to spite them, I guess. just kills them all after. So we go back and get this key after getting the boots, and then we just make our way up here. So yeah, the format of Dungeon 3 is actually kind of interesting. You have this like center chamber there with all these key locks, and the object of the dungeon is just to get 4 keys and unlock all the key blocks that are right there. I like the design of Dungeon 3 a lot, actually. Alright, so coming up is the boss called Slime Eye, or Gigazol, as German likes to call it. I honestly like that name better. So he's just gonna slash the center eye 4 times, and then dash through the middle of it to break it into 2, and then once he kills both of those eyes, the boss fight will be over. So the left one first. Good stuff. This right one is. It's actually, as far as we know, it's not possible without piece of power, at least, to zero cycle this boss. We call zero cycle, or like kill both of them before they move up. Unfortunately, he's gonna grab that heart container as well, because yeah, again, once again, we do need health for later on, and that's Dungeon 3. So this split is where things get more interesting. So this split right here, the Enter D4 split, features a pretty huge skip that saves several minutes. Once again, very, very similar to Villa Skip, which we did to Enter Dungeon 3. However, this one you only get one shot at, and if you miss, it loses about 2 minutes. So we need to make sure that we get this. But that's not coming up for a few minutes because there is some stuff to do first. Owl comes in, says 2 words, leaves. Goodbye. Alright, so now we're just gonna trek over here. We're gonna unlock the warp that's by the Seashell Mansion. That's gonna be our main warp to like this part of the map. We only unlock this one. We don't really need any others over here. We're gonna warp back to Dompe's shack, and we're gonna buy another Tracy's potion, which will once again hopefully be 28 rupees. Actually, if not, I think we're all set. Even if not, honestly, we have enough rupees at this point where I don't think it matters. Like you'd only need 4 extra.
Calculated,
planned. 28. You were totally counting that whole time. Alright, so we're gonna make our way back towards Mabe Village. We're gonna go get the Ocarina. The Ocarina is kind of important in this game. We need it to do a bunch of things. Like, for instance, complete the game. Also, that you just totally threw that rock at that kid for no reason. That was RNG manip. Except it wasn't. I'm just joking. So now here's the Ocarina Shrine, where you don't need. I don't think you actually need the boots to this shrine, but it definitely helps for sure. Like, you might as well get it after the boots. Those guys, by the way, if you touch them, they do 3 hearts of damage. I don't know what they're called, but they mimic your actions, and if you touch them, they hurt. Alright, so now we're gonna go learn the Ballad of the Windfish from Marin right here, since she's right here. And after this, I might as well use the time during the song. There will be another time later to hear the full song. Don't worry. So I'm going to proudly talk over this song. I hope you guys don't mind. But either way, so so we see this fox right here. This fox is going to come on another long journey with us towards the middle, like, north part of the map, where Dungeon 4 is. And there's a keyhole right in front of Dungeon 4 that you normally need a key for, right? But we're not going to get that key. We're instead going to use this fox to enter Dungeon 4, just like we did with Dungeon 3, or getting the Dungeon 3 key. Yeah, and that's a smart safety save right there, because this trick does lose a lot of time if you fail it. But I know Ice can fail it. I'm gonna lure this fox over right there. Do a nice little trick to actually get the fox up onto the top of the ladder. That was perfectly done. Good stuff. So on our way here, we need to actually lure. As we're luring the fox, we need to get our hearts down to at least, or at most, excuse me, at most 2 hearts, because that's how much damage a bomb does to you in this game. Because we need to die when we're on top of the keyhole. Getting that fox there. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, up on top of that, all the way up on top of that is important. So you can dash around. Yeah, that's much faster than the alternative, going all the way around with the fox. Alright, so now that we're here, I'm gonna give Ice some silence so that he can concentrate on the timing here. Nice, got it. Good stuff.
Easy
And
every time.
into Dungeon 4 we go. Easy every time. Really nice. Good job, dude. Alright, so yeah, that was something you call angler key skip. So that skips a lot of stuff. It skips going to Date Marin on the beach. It skips going to Animal Village altogether. It skips the Walrus cutscene. It skips the Landmola fight. It skips actually unlocking Dungeon 4, which takes a lot of time as well. And yeah, just an overall very much time-saving trick. It does lose us time later, but not enough to warrant not doing the trick, for sure. And the reason why that works, by the way, the reason why the Fox is necessary is because, well, first off, you don't actually get high enough from the bomb alone to make it on top of whatever you're trying to get onto with a Tracy boost. By the way, those are called Tracy boosts. But the reason why that works is because the Fox is one of the only things in the game that actually keeps moving after you die. So because of that, it basically pushes Link's like body after he dies like up onto whatever you want, as long as it's low enough to get onto. And that one in particular, right there, is a lot harder than Villa Skip because you're not using a corner. You're basically like flush up against a wall essentially, and you need for like positions to be pretty precise as well. So now we are in Dungeon 4, and so unique thing about Dungeon 4 in this run is that we actually don't finish it. We come in, we get the flippers, and we leave. Because of it, and the reason for this is a side quest that you're normally supposed to do after Dungeon 4. Basically just stepping on the tile there to confirm his seed. Or to know for later what seed he's on, because remember the manipulation was a little bit off at the start of the run, so we needed to know that. So that he can use that info, because the tiles there are actually tied to the RNG manipulation at the start of the run, so he can use that info to determine what seed he's on for later. Yeah, so the cue ball fight here. Got a little bit away from him. Ooh. That fight is hard. That fight's hard to manipulate properly, but got a little bit away from him, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're gonna come and get the flippers and leave, because we're supposed to do a side quest after finishing Dungeon 4. Finishing Dungeon 4 sets a flag for the ghost. The ghost, to start following you around. And it won't let you enter any dungeons until you finish a side quest, which takes like 4 minutes or something. So we essentially save like 3.5 minutes by saving the end of Dungeon 4 for after we finish everything else. Also, what are you attacking Mondo for? That's rude. I don't know. that was very rude.
He yelled at me.
I won't talk over this song.
Oh, I just cleared my splits. Whoops. Oh well. Oops.
Alright, so now we have learned the second of 3 songs in the game, Mambo's Mambo, which is very useful as it allows you to warp to any warp point that you have unlocked throughout Kahalan Island. And we're going to right away use that Mambo to warp to the Seashell Mansion and enter Dungeon 5. So Dungeon 5, what awaits in Dungeon 5 is the first major dungeon skip that you'll see. So this was just recently discovered, something called Slimeal Skip, which makes no sense
It makes
whatsoever
perfect sense, okay?
as to Well, if you say so. It makes no sense as to why this works at all. But basically, so you get the hook shot in Dungeon 5, right? Well, you'll see what it is. You get the hook shot in Dungeon 5, but we're gonna we're gonna give a whole new meaning to the hook shot. The hook shot is going to become a catapult, basically. Before we even obtain possession of it. This room is a pain. This room, honestly, is terrible. Like, why did that Helmasaur not die there? Like, that's ridiculous. Just lay a bomb in the room. That room's awful. So this room, just push the blocks in here, grab the key, and oh, I never explained the auto load mechanic. Sorry. So the game auto saves after you obtain a key, after you do anything important, like grab a key or open a door or do anything important. Even if you just like stand there for a while, if you stand in one spot for long enough, it'll auto save. So what he's doing to get back to the beginning of dungeons here is something called auto loading, where he takes that auto save and actually just loads it, and it places you back to the start of the dungeon with the item that you just got, which is useful. It's like a save warp, except it's not really a save warp. I guess it is a save warp, but you're not the one saving, the game is. Alright, so here's Master Stalfos, our best friend. He's so good of a fight that we fight him 4 times.
He just wants a friend.
It's essentially the same fight every time.
He just wants a friend.
He's gonna get one. Poor Master Stalfos, my god. Yeah, so here's the second Master Stalfos fight. Basically, the way it goes is you lay a bomb, you hit him, bomb explodes, you lay another bomb, you hit him, explodes, lay another bomb, hit him, it explodes. Basically that. So you might be wondering, like, why are you not using bomb arrows for this fight? The reason is because equipping bomb arrows and then re-equipping the feather after every fight is actually slower. So it's like 6 extra equips, which it is actually a lot faster to not re-equip after every fight. Alright, so we're gonna fight this third Master Stalfos, and then I might as well start explaining the trick now so that you can focus while you do it. Also, make sure to manually save after this fight.
Oh yeah, I gotta save before the pogo stick.
Yeah. Alright, so the 4th Master Stalfos is actually going to die and not run away this time, and he's gonna drop the hook shot, and we want him to drop the hook shot in a certain place so that we can have it like kind of land on us or on the wall, and then laying a bomb underneath it will pop the hook shot up in the air, and then as the hook shot comes down, we pick up the bomb that we laid before and actually clip into the hook shot. And what that's going to do is that's going to send us flying upwards onto the walls, and we can just walk on the walls, on the tops of the walls, to the instrument room and skip the entire rest of the dungeon, skip slime meal and everything. So let's see if we can do this. There it is.
Easy every time.
Easy. And that is Dungeon 5. Very nicely done. So, you might be saying to yourself, like, that trick looked really weird. Like, can you like explain why exactly that worked? The answer is no. No, we cannot.
No, we can't.
Why does that work? Why? I don't I don't know why that works. It's something to do with like it has something to do with clipping into the hook shot, of course, but like, why does it send you flying 80 feet up in the air? I don't get it.
Pogo mechanics.
It's fine. We don't need to get it. It saves time. That's all we need to know. Unfortunately, though, we do need to go back into Dungeon 5 and actually get the hook shot because we kind of need that. Luckily, we don't have to fight Master Stalfus again. It'll just be sitting there. There it is. And we just grab it and be on our way to the Armos Maze and Dungeon 6. So we're going to Mambo out of here to the Seashell Mansion again and use our newly found hookshot to get across the river to get to Dungeon 6. That bomb fairy that he just passed can be a real pain, by the way. That bomb fairy can actually lay a bomb and blow open the bush that covers the staircase that leads to Animal Village after D3, and cause like a 6-second cutscene to happen. It's actually hilarious when it happens. Well, not when you're running, but it's... Oh, nice piece of power. Oh, he's gonna dash jump over that like a pro. Nice job. I love that piece of power location. Grab that heart for some extra safety. So these Armos are guaranteed to drop arrows. So just killing them with arrows is actually really nice. They just drop arrows every time. You don't waste any. Alright, so now there's a quick kill for this fight. The pre-D6 Armos, I guess we'll call it. So he's going to spin slash twice and then fire 2 arrows into it, and the second arrow is actually pretty tight timing. Okay.
I spin slash too early.
Yeah, the second spin slash was just a bit too early. He hadn't quite gotten rid of his iframes yet when he lands. His iframes are kind of the mystery, honestly. His not so much as hitbox, but like when he actually has iframes is really strange and makes like no sense. But yeah, the second spin slash was just a little bit too early, but it was a really good recovery on the fight. That fight can go very, very wrong. Alright, so now we're gonna swim to the island and go unlock Dungeon 6. Where we have another skip in Dungeon 6. Ooh, nice. We have another skip in Dungeon 6. Which involves something I guess we'll call wall surfing for the sake of convenience.
We're quickly switching games to Counter-Strike Source.
Yes, we are. Surfing indeed. So I actually really like Dungeon 6. Very cool dungeon. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the power bracelet. Excuse me, the power bracelet, the level 2 power bracelet, which we actually do need for a little bit later in the run to get the rooster. Otherwise, I don't think we actually need it at all. I think the rooster's the only thing we need the L2 bracelet for. Because you can't push the statue otherwise. Also, yeah, the music in this dungeon is so good. Oh, why? What? Why did they not die? I guess the bomb arrow was maybe a little early. I have no idea. game is weird sometimes. I still feel like they totally should have died, but whatever.
Yeah, I disagree with it.
Alright, so now we're gonna go up and get the key near the northern part of this dungeon. And then very soon afterwards we're gonna surf on some walls. For whatever reason, so this room that Ice was entering right here, with the star that's bouncing back and forth, we can actually get up on the wall in that room and skip straight to the staircase that leads to the Nightmare Key. Also, this room right here has a certain element of RNG to it. So if that anti-fairy moves down right instead of down left, unfortunately he got the bad RNG that went down left on him. But you can actually just bomb arrow the anti-fairy and kill both of the wizards. But unfortunately, that wasn't so. Alright, so here, you can dash jump from the staircase and actually get up onto this like torch, just like that. And then jump on the walls and carefully angle yourself so that you kind of slide along it. And that was nicely done. Good stuff. So that saves about a minute in Dungeon 6. It's a really cool looking glitch. Also, best strat in the game right here. Screw the wall surfing. Playing the song to kill the pulse voices is like just super satisfying. Something about it. More Dodongos. Dodongos are still bad. Just in general. They just kind of... Oh, that was a good kill, though. That was a good... God, these guys. So Dodongo sneaks away. Oh, jeez. Yeah, so, Dongos are... Just bomb the fairy, yeah, and wait for it to explode. That's perfect. So this chest right here, you actually have to throw a pot at it to open it. That is, I think, the only chest in the game that actually, you can't open normally. You have to throw a pot at it, and then it opens. There's some doors like that, but I think that's the only chest like that. Alright, so now we're going to backtrack through this part of Dungeon 6 after getting that key. And after this room right here... Nice piece of power right in the way. We're going to go up here and get Tracy's medicine. So this is the third and final Tracy's medicine we're going to get. This is not for a Tracy boost, however. This is for another Death Abuse glitch later on. Nice! Okay, yeah, that's a... Oh, that was actually a good piece of power. I didn't even realize. That's like... Yeah, that's super good. So a piece of power makes it a lot easier to get the ball first here before Smasher. Just like that. Nice. Nicely done. Good stuff. Very quick Smasher fight. You can do that without piece of power, but it's a lot harder. It didn't even occur to me that that was a really good piece of power placement there. Alright, so now we're gonna head towards the boss, Facade. And Facade is also a really cool boss. So Facade normally involves bombs, or just like laying bombs on the floor, but you can actually bomb arrow the tiles that are flying around to damage Facade, and it looks really cool. This fight is, the first 3 hits you get on him are pretty much scripted. because he doesn't move and also doesn't react to the bombs being on the floor like he does in the final 3 hits. But yeah, this boss fight's really cool. Really good fight. Nicely done. Yeah, that was I think for the RNG you got, that was about as well as you could have handled that. Really good stuff there. We're gonna get this heart container, and we're gonna go learn the Frog Song of Soul after this. Alright, so after Dungeon 6 is where this run starts to look a lot different, and feel a lot different as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go learn the Frog Song in the Signpost Maze, and then we're going to go wake the Rooster. And the Rooster kind of unlocks a whole new, like, style of gameplay for this run. We're going to use the Rooster to do some wonderful things after Dungeon 6. Most of them involving ladders. Because Rooster plus ladders in this game equals unintended behavior. Let's just call it that.
This is a Grezzo game. This is intended.
Of course. These signs, a lot of them are really nice to hook shots too, but I think it's pretty comparable, honestly. Like most of them, hookshotting or dashing is pretty comparable to I think most of them. Hookshotting feels good. More or less, I think if you have a straight shot to the sign, I think it's faster to hookshot. If you don't, it's likely faster to dash. Like if you notice, if you hookshot a sign, like it takes Link a little bit to actually like settle down after actually using the hookshot. Like he'll kind of like land on the ground slightly and just be immobilized for a minute. Not a minute, but you know. Probably 20 frames or something.
Alright, so we're quickly switching games over to Mario Brothers 2.
Yes.
And enjoy the tunes.
I'm gonna stay quiet. Okay, and that was the Frog Song of Soul, so now we can perform necromancy. You think I'm joking?
Don't try this at home.
You think I'm joking? This game's weird, man. So we say excuse me to Marin as we just kind of push over that statue, and we're going to awaken the Rooster.
But you know, music awakens the soul.
Yes.
Or in this case, dinner.
yeah, so this rooster is going to change the game. So the first thing we're gonna do is Dungeon 8, because why not? So you might be wondering, like, hey, isn't Dungeon 7 supposed to be next? The answer is yes. Period. That's all I have to say. But anyway, yeah, we can enter Dungeon 8 early by doing something very specific on the ladder that's kind of near Dungeon 8 or underneath it. There's a piece of collision that's kind of like above everything here, and we're gonna do something called an air climb. So by using the rooster here, we can get on this ladder in a specific way. Nicely done, first try. Awesome. So get on that ladder in a very specific way, and the game thinks you're still on the ladder when you're not. So you can climb way above it. So you get onto the piece of wall that kind of like extends upward, or its hitbox extends upward. The collision is a lot higher than it appears. You land on it, and for a brief moment, you can actually jump off of it. You can use that to jump up onto that clearing. Now we fight the giant turtle. So in Link to the Past, you unlock Turtle Rock. Here you actually get to fight Turtle Rock. There we go. Okay, so now once we're in Dungeon 8, we're going to do something called, or I like to call, Hinox Heave, or Hinox Houdini, or Houdinox.
The Hinox's name is Russell, and we're gonna call it Russell Throw. No,
right.
No affiliation to Russell Crowe.
Russell Throw. Okay, so yeah, this trick is weird. So basically, long story short, you are taking damage from your own bomb arrow against the wall and getting grabbed by the Hinox on the same frame in a very specific spot in the room, which we get to via a setup. And yeah, just watch. So this is the boss room. And that was the first try, by the way. That's frame perfect. That was a very, very good Dungeon 8. Very good. So that's first try.
Of course, I erased my splits on a run that I get everything first try. Hey, watch, incoming instrument room, calling it.
God, imagine.
I would have to retime this.
That's the first of 2 Hinox Heaves. We're gonna do the same thing in Dungeon 7. That's what we need the medicine for. In Dungeon 6. But first we need to trek to Dungeon 7, and the trek to Dungeon 7 is also really cool, because we just go backwards through the mountain. We're not supposed to be able to go this way, but we can just get onto these rocks. Hopefully these boulders don't troll us. That was actually pretty good. Rooster comes up, and we can clip through this ladder and onto the mountain with the egg. Why is there collision on this mountain? That's what I want to know. But it works out because it makes for a really cool skip here. And there we go. Okay. Nice. There was collision there, by the way. That was like way up top, kind of like with early D8. We needed to get over that, and that's why the first one missed, because it is it's kind of tricky to get over that. But yeah. So I repeat, why can you walk on that mountain? Like, there is actually collision on the mountain. It makes no sense. So now we have the bird key, and we're going to auto-load out. The reason we're going this way, by the way, is because we never unlocked Dungeon 4. So the waterfall that's out in front of Dungeon 4 is still there. We cannot bypass it. So we need to do all this stuff. And then we air climb again with the rooster to do something called seam walking. So we just kind of walk on the wall here. Just like that. And we do something similar here, except it's just an air climb up onto the platform. Good. Good stuff. So yeah, the game Rooster plus ladders equals
Balanced.
yes. Alright, so now Dungeon 7, Ice is going to be attempting another Enox Eve. So this one's actually pretty unique, because you have a 3-frame window to skip basically the entirety of Dungeon 7, but only one of those 3 frames will actually send you straight to the instant room. So there's a 3-frame window involving a certain setup in the room before, and also in the room itself. So what you do is you aim for the 3-frame window, and if you hit the last frame, it saves about a minute and a half over the other 2 frames. And we're gonna do something called skewing as well to hit that switch in between the pegs. Pretty good skew there. So like, basically just changing Link's direction by using the feather. And okay, yeah, he's gonna kill those. Pretty smart. Honestly, yeah, just like get the 3 of a kinds out of your way, because you need to bonk twice here in order to set this up. Involves a very careful X pixel manipulation, and I'm gonna be quiet here. I think you got it.
I'm retiming this run.
Yeah. You better retime. You better retime this run.
I'm retiming this run.
That's Dungeon 7. This is huge. This is like, I mean, I don't know what your PB was like, but this like
117.40.
Yeah, this kind of has to be PB based at this point, I think. So yeah, both frame perfect Enox used first try.
I mean,
this is an awesome run. Every other trick first try. This is an awesome run.
Easy every time, right?
Yeah. So now you just fall down to go to Dungeon 4 here.
Oh, the best part of this run is that there's no collision on the waterfall like you saw earlier. So since we have the flippers, you can just kind of walk in here and just do that.
Yeah, there's collision. There's collision up top, but not at the bottom, because they kind of figured that nobody would ever like be able to access the bottom. But you can access the top. You're supposed to.
Alright, now I gotta figure out which seed I have.
You have the primer up? Looks like you got it. So he actually has a list of seeds up, and since he knew that bottom right tile was the first tile in that puzzle, he could look for seeds around it which had that tile as the first one, and therefore know what seed he's on. So now he knows what egg path to take. But first, we actually need to finish Dungeon 4. We need to fight the anglerfish. With a nice little jump there. So bomb arrowing those pots kind of gets them out of the way and allows you to do a weird little jump around them. And that skips a small key. Just allows you to access that. You can do the same thing in the original Link's Awakening as well, or a similar trick, not quite the same. They made it a little harder in this room. So Pranic Killer, or Anglerfish, is a pretty decent boss when you don't have Piece of Power. Ugh. That was almost such a good fight. It was still a really good fight.
Because of Marathon.
Yeah, so double spin slashing there is pretty useful. So remember I mentioned double spin slashing earlier. You can do the same thing in the water on anglerfish, and hit them twice. So it's essentially 4 sword slashes in one spin. Alright, so now that we're done with Dungeon 4, we have all the instruments and we can go fight the Nightmare in the egg. And apparently you're on seed 25.
Yep, I have it pulled up already.
Cool, sweet. So he knows he's on seed 25.
Thank you, Amber.
I actually don't know what seed 25 is because I use a whole different seed. But
3 left, 1 up, 2 right, 2 up.
Yep, but I was about to say Ice Blue does know what the path is, so that's all that matters. Nice piece of power.
Manipulated for the boss.
So the owl comes in, gets his last 2 cents in, and then you just dash to the egg and play the song, which I will not talk over. Oh, I think you're a little low.
That was 1 pixel too high.
Ugh. Wow. Okay, that's some BS. Oh, I won't talk over this one.
I have a lot of extra arrows. I might go for 3 hits a couple of times.
Nice.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
To answer a question in chat, so as long as you don't go below a certain point, which I think is like right around where the piece of heart is, like at the cross-shaped grass with holes near the Moblin Cave, like as long as you don't go south of like where the Moblin cave is, the ghost will not appear. And since you never do that after Dungeon 4, between there and the end game, like you don't have to worry about it.
So apparently not picking up the lens in this game determines whether or not the egg is lit with the torches.
I believe that's correct, yes. Alright, there we go. So now we go fight Nightmare, which has, I believe, 6 phases. The first phase is going to be a blob phase where you powder it 3 times. The second phase is probably the most infamous. That would be Aghanim's phase, where he can give you blue balls, or something we call blue balls, but I'm sure, you know, this is a Zelda marathon, so I think you guys know what blue balls are. The third phase is Moldworm, which has a quick kill to it. The fourth phase is Ganon, which has another quick kill to it. Alright, here we go, Aghanim. So this version of Aghanim is guaranteed to give you at least 1 blue ball. There's 2. There's 3. So this one's guaranteed to be a blue ball. No more. There's 1. All right, good. 2 blue balls is not bad at all. 1 more than optimal.
Missed the spin slash.
It's okay. All right, good recovery. Really good recovery, actually. All right, good stuff. So 2 double spin slashes plus a dash just kills Ganon right away. Here's the land roll phase, 4 spin slashes.
Time is coming up when we enter the final step of the stairs and the screen goes dark.
Yep. Okay, so Defil takes 10 arrows for Death Eye. Wow, that's the fastest I've ever seen him open his eye.
Wow. I tried.
Good stuff.
So by the way, guys, this is nearly a 3-minute PB for me.
That is legit. Yeah, so time
And
ends on the...
time.
Yep, there it is. Good stuff. What a run. That was a super good marathon run. And super good run altogether. Like, that was actually totally legit. All the skips first try.
And we got the correct frame for instrument room, which was nice. Really nice.
Yeah. Like, that is absolutely amazing. Great stuff, dude.
I'm gonna have to go back and retime this now.
Yeah. Just restream it and split.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Switch 2019 version. And you just saw a really good run from Ice Blue, so and that's the marathon. I think that was the last run of the entire marathon. So yeah, that's a good note to end it on, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was a really good run. Thank you for the congrats, Supersonic.